So our emphasis was only on verse 12, but she read the whole chapter, which was fantastic. Thank you, and you did it very well. Thank you. Let's teach our children how to do and to read the Word of God. We have only 15 to 20 minutes because we have the Holy Communion is going to go up. So allow me to proceed very quickly. And I have chosen a topic which I'm not going to finish. Maybe next time when I get a chance, I will. When you are misunderstood. Amen. Is there a time when you are misunderstood? Eh? Is there a time when others misunderstand you? And you are misunderstood, is it? Christ was misunderstood. You know what? You're not the only one. Yes. In fact, there is an English word I want to teach you today. It is called assumicide. Assummicide. Assumicide. You have never heard of such a word, you know? So you go and look for it. What does it mean? This word is very powerful. Assumicide. Assumicid. It leads to death of relationship because we end up believing the worst about others. That's what this word is. It means what happens when you make false assumptions about others so that you can portray them in the worst possible light. The word assumicide means when you make false assumptions about others so that you can portray them in the worst possible light. This is what this word means. We say, he didn't call back, so he must not want to talk to me. I think she's trying to ignore me. They never employ people like me. The church is so unfriendly. How can he be a Christian and act like that? I don't like him. I don't know why, I just don't like him. You can't trust someone who dresses like that. He is a hypocrite. That is what called what? Assumicide. On the other hand, if you are the victim of assumicide, it's very hard to fight back against false assumptions. Few things hurt more than being misunderstood by close friends. If your close friends misunderstood you, it hurts. The closer they are to us, the greater the pain. When that happens, we discover a lot about ourselves. How can we respond when we've been misunderstood? It tells a great depth of a Christian person. When he was speaking, when he was preaching, he must have been directing that sermon directly on me. So, there is one man in the Bible who faced a similar problems. That was Paul. So our passage in the book of Colossians brings this one out. The Apostle Paul found himself in trouble with the church he had founded himself in the Greek seaport of Corinth. From Acts chapter 18, we know that he spent 18 months in Corinth winning people to Christ and establishing a church there. After he left when the church was well established, he left. When he left to go back to Jerusalem, there was a small faction which arose in the congregation that questioned his leadership. They challenged his authority, insinuated that he wasn't a real apostle, attacked his character, accused him of using Corinthians. He wasn't a real church for his own gain. The troublemakers succeeded in turning most of the church against him. And their chief complaint was Paul couldn't be trusted because he had changed his mind twice about visiting them. He hadn't come to visit the Colossians as he had said. That proved he was a fickle man whose character and message could not be trusted. How can he tell us he's coming twice and didn't turn up? So be careful when you promise somebody and you don't turn up and you don't do things, they will be remembering you. Just remember this. It started over something small. That's how it usually happens. Someone didn't greet us in the way. They didn't answer our email. They didn't invite us to their party. They didn't show up for an appointment. Or we heard they said something negative about us. Or they didn't laugh at our jokes. Or they suddenly seemed cold when they used to be glad to see us. Little things, small stuff, petty complaints. From a tiny spark of discontent, a mighty flame of unhappiness grows. The flame soon becomes a wildfire that threatens to destroy a relationship. Congregations split and friendship have ended over things that started very small but grew out of proportion. Let's check out what happened to Paul. Our actions may be questioned. So, if you read carefully, chapter 1, 2 Corinthians chapter 1 and 2, it appears that Paul made 3 different decisions about his trip to Corinth. 1, he planned to go to Macedonia and then to Corinth. We find that in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 1 to 7. We don't have time to read, you can read it for yourself. He plans to pass through Macedonia and hopes to spend the winter with them in Corinth. He doesn't want it to be a brief visit, but a long time, so that he can minister to them in Macedonia. He qualifies it all by saying, if the Lord permits, I will go to Corinth. But that trip never took place. He later planned to go to Corinth, then to Macedonia. I'll go this time to Corinth, then I'll go to where? Macedonia. And then back to Corinth. He mentions this in chapter 2, 2 Corinthians 1, 15 to 16. I plan to visit you first so that you might benefit twice, because he was going to them, Macedonia, and back. Finally, he decided to postpone his trip altogether. I decided that I would not bring you grief with another painful visit. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 1. He felt that faction was getting out of hand. What's going on here? That question is hard to answer because we don't have all the details regarding the trouble that threatened to overwhelm the church in Corinth. But this much is clear. Paul's opponents used his changing plans as a way to attack his credibility. See, you can't trust him. He calls himself an apostle. He says he's coming, but he never shows up. Well, this is a problem, isn't it? Keeping your word is hugely important for all of us, but especially for spiritual leaders. It is all about integrity, consistency, proving yourself trustworthy, showing up on time, doing what you said you would do. If people feel like they can't count on you, how will they ever listen to what you have to say? Even if you are a mother in the house, a father in the house, a pastor, anyone, if people cannot trust you, can they trust what you are going to say? We have to be very careful. So Paul's answer comes in 3 parts, as I think. Number 1, always say, 1, he said, my conscience is clear. That's what Paul is saying. My conscience is clear. That's verse 12, what we read today. I haven't hidden anything from you. So if you do something and you think your conscience is clear, you haven't hidden anything, I haven't tried to deceive you, those 3 things are very important in life. My action, what I have done, my conscience is what? Sometimes people can say things and you say, my conscience is what? Clear. Yeah. That's very important because they might make a judgment between you and God. Your conscience is what? You did it in honesty. You didn't want to hurt anybody. Or you said what you said in honesty. And that's what Paul is saying in verse 2:12. And he says, the same verse, he said, I haven't hidden anything from you. And verse 13, I haven't tried to deceive you. This is what is very important. Blessed is the man who has nothing to hide. So, our words may be twisted. So, what will I say first? I said, my actions may be questioned. Number 2, now here, down here, our words may be twisted. Paul doesn't try to hide his change of plans. He doesn't. It is true that he had changed his mind several times, but whether or not the Christians could understand it, his only concern was for their welfare. Not that we lord it over your faith, but we work with you for your joy, because it is by faith you stand firm. 2 Corinthians 1:12. He wanted to come and see them, but only if his visit would bring about healing and spiritual growth. But already there was poison. So if I go there, people even might fight me, might even fight. So my going is going to bring more problems to them. Sometimes your going will bring more problems. Did you know that? He has been talking about me. Okay, I'm going to see him now. I'm going with a few other friends of mine. Let us go and make peace with this guy. Or sort him out. Your going might create more problems than keeping away. Did you know that? And that's the wisdom Paul said. I'm not going there. Twice he stood, he said 3 times, I'm going to Macedonia, come back. But the Spirit of the Lord says, if you go there, you're going to have more problems in that church than you staying away. But still people misunderstood. So, because of time, I said the first one was, our actions may be questioned. Our actions may be questions. Number 2, our words may be twisted. Are you getting it? Our words may be. And number 3, our motives may be challenged. Our motives may be challenged. What exactly is his motive? He's coming to see us. Why? Your motive might be what? What is he? Did you hear what he was saying? You know, his critics thought Paul was sort of fake, fried. He was the person who would cheat. Paul says, I call God as my witness that it was in order to spare you that I did not return to Corinth. He stayed away so as not to have an angry confrontation. That's why he made up his mind not to make another painful visit. He wrote to them a letter apparently lost in history, in which he boldly confronted his critic. Now he says, I said what I needed to say, and I wrote what I needed to write, so I won't do anything right now. Then here, surprisingly, Revelation says, for I wrote you out of great distress and anguish of heart, and with many tears, not to grieve you, but let you know the depth of my love for you. Sometimes some people won't listen. Some people love to argue. Some people have already made up their minds. Some people have an answer for everything. Evidently, that was the situation in Corinth. And Paul said, I will not confront these guys. Let me leave them alone. Then another one, fourth, love must be both tough and tender. Love must be both tough and what? Tender. So now Paul decided to wait for God to work. In order not to stir up trouble, he decided not to come to Corinth at this moment. Here we see true Christian maturity at work. He has no desire to stir up trouble. He only wants to share in their joy, so he keeps away. Waiting can be hard, perhaps the hardest discipline of the Christian life. This is not an argument for this. But sometimes we have to refrain from anger to turn away wrath. Do we understand? So, how to respond to misunderstanding, and our time is up, is what we should have. I have put about 5 points here as Paul discussed them, but we don't have time, we are late. But when they saw at Jesus, he didn't swear back. When they scourged him, he didn't retaliate. That's Jesus himself. When the soldiers pushed the crown of thorns on his head, he didn't curse them. When they dropped the nails in his hands and feet, he didn't threaten them. When the bystanders spat at him, he didn't spit back. When they saw at him, he didn't swear back. Why should you? Why should you? Well, let them talk. If you have made a mistake, apologize. If they don't want to hear the apology, your conscience must be what? Clear. Are we together? Yes. The same thing they did to Jesus and even to Paul. So, when you are misunderstood, repeat these 4 sentences. This is what I leave you with. When you are misunderstood, repeat these 4 sentences. Number 1, it is not about me. It is not about now. It is all about God. It's all about eternity. 4 sentences you repeat when you feel people don't understand you. It's not about me. It's not about now. It's all about who? God. It's all about what? Eternity. As these words, I encourage you to stop right now and say these 4 sentences. Write them down. The followers of Jesus will sometimes be misunderstood, not only by the world, but by the other Christians, even in the same church. People may understand you. Did you know that you can't please everybody? There are some people, even when you smile, say, what is he smiling at? Now you have only tried to smile and say, so what? Do you understand? Yes. So all the time. No, you don't know how even to behave yourself. Do you understand? May God give us the spirit of Jesus that we may walk in his steps. Pray. Amen. Amen.
We should now separate my different section to wash our feet, and then the children will be here with us with the Lamech, the children's story, and then we'll come back here. There is inspiration. Let's sing as we. When I saw the one who's called.
Is it very clear to you?
Yes.
Okay. It's time for Holy Communion now. So as we move up, the children will remain here with the Lamech. The men know where they are supposed to be upstairs for foot washing. The women know where they are in their section. Those who are visitors and would like to come and see, you can team up with the men. Those who are men, we don't want to go with them. For all those who want to stay here, you are free to stay here. But let us all stand.